This is the Cooking Today Show. I'm Allan Gilbreth, and I'm here today with my partners in culinary crime, Brandon Olmsted and the amazing Claire.
Yeah.
How you guys doing today?
I'm good, but I was starting to think this show wasn't going to happen.
We got
All right. I'm gonna give people a glimpse behind the curtain. Because of the food that we're dealing with today, we did our taste testing before the show. And I was like, all right, I'm going to fall asleep. I'm full. I got the itis, people, and it's all Allan Gilbreth's fault.
The topic today is one of my favorite topics. It was and is omelets.
Which, man, if you could taste through a microphone, all of you would understand what I'm going through right now. Which is probably a good thing that you can't.
Well, that's Claire's fault. I'm going to put this totally on Claire.
I made the dubious mistake of asking this man to surprise me.
Yeah, I said, we're going to do omelets. And, all right, what is your favorite kind of omelet? And she kind of went, I'm not so much into omelets. Surprise me.
When I saw that,
I am more than happy to accept that challenge.
When I saw that text show up in the feed, I was like, we're in trouble. I knew this was going to happen. It's like Allan's going to bring in tasty things. We're going to eat too many tasty things. Brandon's going to want a nap.
And the cycle goes on.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the deal about omelets? So I'm going to look at you two and go, all right, what is wrong with omelets? What has gone wrong for you in the past?
I know I've had many that were dry, and that put me off of them for a bit.
Besides the fact that Brandon and I both are horrified at that statement.
I mean, yeah, it's like, Claire brought that up when we were doing the taste testing. It's like, and I was like, what? That's a possibility?
Yeah,
I've never had a dry omelet.
I actually have.
So I was like afraid. It's like, I mean, I've chewed on a stick of rubber before, but it was because it's like nervous and anxious, and you're working on things, and you're like, wait, why is this tubing in my mouth?
It's just way overcooked.
Yeah,
it's just honestly way overcooked,
yeah.
And it can get pretty dry and pretty rubbery, and starts looking like a doggy chew toy. Yeah, so
it sounds like you had a bad McDonald's morning, kind of deal.
Oh wow.
Look. I love our fast food, restaurants, but there's just certain things you don't buy, and that's one of them.
Okay, so we're going to pick on Claire for a minute. So you've had less than exciting or less than well done or less than well prepared omelets.
Indeed, I was about to say a little, perhaps too well done.
Or, at least improperly cooked and presented. Okay. I think my worst omelet story would go to one of our conventions we've been to.
Right.
And
I feel like I can smell this story already.
And one of the foods they had was all of these little half moon pre-done cheese omelets.
Oh, on the breakfast buffet?
Yes.
Oh. It's
little cheese flavored hockey pucks.
It's not right. But I think I can understand why those became dry and hard and everything. It's because rather than we've been to hotels over our con career where if you're on the breakfast buffet, but then if you want an omelet, you tell them and then they will bring it to your table.
Yes.
Or they will have the thing there. They will pour the egg mixture in there, throw the the topping,
the goodies, right,
innards that you want. It slaps itself sideways, and then they serve it to you right, while you're standing there. This is not something you put inside of a warming container. I don't
500 of them at a time,
and I don't care how many, how hot the water is underneath it. It ain't staying moist.
So we're all about cooking today, and in today's world, we don't have time. We never have time. But I'm going to throw in, if you figure out an omelet, and I told a few other people that we were doing omelets today, and one of them immediately spoke up and went, I have never successfully made an omelet. And I said, well, I will take it upon myself by the end of this weekend. You will be able to make an omelet.
I'm trying to figure out what, I mean, I'm not any culinary genius. I'm not. But I've just, there are certain things that come naturally. Omelets are one of them. Waffles is another. When it comes to breakfast food, those are two things that I'm good at.
Okay.
But I don't, I have seen some messes when it comes to the omelet making.
I have seen people attempt omelets, and I have seen egg flung far and wide around a kitchen.
It's certain people's inability to make an omelet that is the reason why we have frittatas.
There you go. Happy accidents.
You know it's true, Allan.
I'm just sitting there going, yeah, never mind. Just throw the stuff in there, whip it. Just call it scrambled eggs plus stuff,
right?
And set it to the side. Okay, so, goodness. All right, guys, the secret to the omelet is the flip.
Yes.
It is the flip. And I'm even one of the more dangerous omelet people. I'm the person that flips the whole omelet over first and then does the flip.
Well, sometimes that's the best way.
But I have to say, it is because I have the perfect omelet pan.
See,
which is nothing more than a 6-inch frying pan.
Right. The equipment has a lot to do with the ease.
Yeah. I'm not trying to do this in a big full-size frying pan. I have
or a griddle.
A 6-inch.
It's dangerous to try and do an omelet on a griddle.
All right. I would love to argue that. All right. I'm not going to have a problem doing it on a griddle, but I've cooked about 30,000 omelets in my time.
True. I mean, you are kind of an expert when it comes to the omelet. But I have seen people go to do the whole thing, and it just slides across the griddle.
Right, and they end up making scrambled eggs.
Right.
For the average person on a griddle, you do need an egg form.
Yes.
Which is nothing more than basically a cookie cutter for an egg. Yep. You put the egg in it, it makes it round. When you lift it up, it stays round.
And you can get them in various types of material. From the cheap silicone one that is hanging next to the eggs at your local supermarket,
yes,
to the really fancy metal ones that have like the handles and everything.
Oh yeah,
they all work. I have not found one that doesn't work.
It just needs to hold the egg together until the heat gets to it. Okay, right. Secret to an omelet number 1: the right pan.
Yes,
or the right equipment. 2: a good spatula.
Yes.
Not that little rigid, hard thing. You need a longer one where you can get around the edges and get up underneath and support your omelet.
You also
define longer, because if this is the reason why I can't flip my fried eggs in peace.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
There were for years, for many, many years, I haven't seen one lately, but they even used to make an omelet spatula. It was the French spatula. It had long tines on it and a little curled edge, and it was perfect for getting around underneath something around the edge of the pan. Yeah. And
what's really sad is some people thought that's not a spatula, that's a bamboo back scratcher. No, it's not. It is a spatula.
Anything is a back scratcher if you believe.
Well, if you're in a real pinch,
don't
get there.
Just not
please
both
wash it carefully
at the same time.
Yeah. Don't forget about the hot oil. The one I like now.
You won't forget about it.
Whoa, hello. The one I like right now, the one I'm using right now, that's just my go-to is basically a silicone spatula.
Right.
It's the rubberized, heat-resistant, but it has a nice amount of flexibility to it. Mm-hmm. And instead of being the little short, about 3-inch spatula, the little cheapy that you normally see, it's about a 5-inch spatula.
Right.
And that gives you a little more curve and a little more pressure that you can use to get under things.
And it's another one of those items that you can find everywhere. If you just know where to look,
right. Big box stores.
You go to a big box store. I mean, you can get a nice 5-inch silicone spatula at the Dollar Tree.
Yeah.
If you just check, sometimes you might have to dig, but you'll get it.
So the right equipment, and guys, really a good 6-inch frying pan, not a cast iron.
No.
In this case, I'm going to say you need one with the sloped edges. Mm-hmm. kind of circular. But a 6, honest to goodness, guys, unless even if you're feeding a small army, a 6-inch pan is absolutely a necessity. Alrighty, well, when we come back, we're going to dive into a little more lore and legend of how to get this thing to cook and flip.
I think one of the things that we also definitely need to hit on is, and it's something we repeat ad nauseum at this point, and that's about your heat. A lot of people are probably going to have issues with their omelets because they're going to have that heat way too high.
Oh, yeah. You're done.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually, it's kind of these scary things when you travel a lot. Yeah. You stay different places and, sometimes you stay with people and the fact that I'm a foodie and a plant person is extremely well known.
Yes.
Because if you walk through my backyard, I have the weirdest selection of plants ever because people just give me weird stuff.
Right.
Everybody, well, have you seen this type of blackberry? No, I haven't. Have you seen blueberries that taste like lemonade? No, but I'll take one.
Right.
My backyard looks like a botanic garden went wrong.
Or
I would expect nothing less from you.
I don't have normal plants growing on my windowsill above the kitchen. I have the shot glass garden.
Right.
Where the bottom of the onion goes into the glass to sprout again so we can go outside to the garden kind of thing. Or the Venus flytrap.
You really got to put that gallery up on the website for everybody.
It's ever-changing, but the Venus flytrap is about to bloom.
If I come to your house and hear, "Feed me Seymour," somewhere in the basement, I'm leaving.
That's in the backyard.
It's in the backyard.
That's in the backyard. It really is. If you've ever seen
there's barbed wire around it.
If you've ever seen an artichoke plant, it is Audrey 2. It really is. Yep. I actually have. I have Audrey 3. She's been with me now for several years, and she's pretty impressive. So when you travel around and people want to and people do one of two things: either people are intimidated to cook in front of me,
right,
or they can't wait to cook in front of me.
Yeah.
Which one scares you more?
Oh, the can't wait to cook in front of me scares me so much more.
Let me just put this out there. Those people on either side are dumb. You know why? Because if Allan is traveling and staying at your house, what you do is you get fresh ingredients and make him cook for you.
That's like one of the Fae has come to your home and you don't want to insult them.
Right. Well, it's actually I have relatives that play cooking show with me.
Right.
I if they know I'm coming to visit for that event in the family, I will get to the house and there will literally be in containers, like I had a prep chef, will have all of the ingredients they want for dinner.
They'll
all be sitting there, and then they will all be staring at me, grinning.
What are you going to do with that?
With a challenge. Okay, Allan, we had this wonderful almond jello when we were in Hong Kong, and we can't figure out the instructions because they're all in Chinese. And even the Chinese people here can't read it or figure it out. Cook it. You're like, oh my gosh, here we go. It's that kind of. It did. That's actually a true story.
But I'm waiting for the day that you get there and there's Cornish hen, dark chocolate, and marshmallows, and I go, feed us.
I could do that. I could so do that.
I think I just came up with next week's show.
That could so happen. The funniest one was, of course, a turducken.
Well, yeah.
They all the ingredients for a turducken were laid out. And I was just kind of like, I've never made one of these, but I can't wait. So I take that same approach to breakfast.
Well, yeah.
Breakfast is, all right, here's the first thing everybody gets wrong. You do not cook an omelet. Really, you don't. You assemble an omelet.
It's like the Avengers of food.
Well, close. Because you need all of the different parts already together. Mm-hmm. You're not going to try to cook the eggs and the mushrooms and the beef and everything at the same time. Do not do that. prep anything you want to make an omelet out of. And omelets are not just for breakfast. Omelets are not just cheese or bacon or sausage. Omelets can be beef stew. Omelets can be crab, alligator, shrimp,
Omelets,
whatever you want.
Omelets are the perfect second life to leftovers.
In so many ways, because of my favorite version of Chinese omelets, egg Foo Young.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, you're just cleaning off the veggie counter. You stir fry it and then you add it to egg.
There you go.
There you go. Egg Foo Young. Boom. Guess what? That egg Foo Young makes a heck of an omelet.
I can imagine.
So anyway you want to do this. So prep everything that you want to go into this first.
And if you're going to do omelets for breakfast, it's good to go ahead and prep that the night before.
You got to cook this stuff a day or two before.
Well,
that's what we have, plasticware. Stuff can sit in the fridge for a day or two. Now, when you get ready to cook, and then again, an omelet can also be fresh. And then let me throw in for all of my vegans and vegetarians out there. Guys, if you're an ovo vegetarian and eggs are your protein, do not be afraid of the veggie load. Oh my gosh, some of the best omelets I have ever had have been the garden mix.
Right.
Grape tomatoes, cherry tomatoes, all kinds of basically anything you want. I've even had a berry dessert omelet.
All right. That sounds
That was
interesting.
blueberries and blackberries and all these little, it was basically the wild berry selection. Because there was Lingen and black, and I'm pretty sure there was a mulberry or two in there, and it was just a cup of berries just wound up in the center of the omelet, and shockingly and amazingly, it worked really well.
Well, I mean, I can't see why it wouldn't. I mean, that just sounds amazing.
You're just kind of like, wow, all right. Now, guys, and keep in mind, other desserts like flan are closely related to omelets because it's baked egg.
Okay.
So, and if you kind of get this in your head that what we're doing is assembling a variety of different choices. This way you can also custom make an omelet, do the individual taste of everybody at the table. Because if you got 3 kids, you got 3 people that don't like the same thing.
They don't like anything except for one specific thing per kid.
If you got a kid that is absolutely a fan of chopped hot dogs, guess what? There's a chopped hot dog omelet coming in his future. You got one kid.
Macaroni and cheese.
It works.
It does.
I'm not kidding. A mac and cheese omelet actually works. It does. It's one of those, you look at this and you kind of go, why did you bother? Trust me.
But what was great is that, you've got 2 of your kids down and you're going to go to your third one and he's going to say Cocoa Puffs.
Okay.
And it works. It still works.
It'll work. You can trust me, people. It will work. And everybody's listening to the radio going, What?
That's
not what you do with an omelet. Yes, it is. Expand. All right, if you honestly want to get down to it.
It is the perfect. We talked about waffles being great for experiments when it comes to toppings and syrups and everything. Omelets are the perfect experimental, it's the gateway.
It is. It's a gateway drug.
It's like once you perfect the the egg part of your omelet, you're going to put everything in it.
And let me tell you, Alfredo sauces and marinara sauces work really good with eggs.
Especially if you put gnocchi in the middle of that omelet.
Yeah. Yep. And I've even had a
mold used for gnocchi.
That
makes sense because we put other potatoes in them.
I have a fun one for you for the person that's a marinara fan of a stick of string mozzarella and a dash of marinara sauce. There's your omelet.
The omelet cheese stick.
Put the cheese string right in the center of it. Mm-hmm. Dash of marinara, fold it over, set it to the side, and your big I love spaghetti fan is gonna go crazy. It's such a people usually look at this and go, you are just totally destroying an omelet. It's like, well, wait a minute. An omelet doesn't have to be a stereotype.
No, the only way you destroy an omelet is when you drop it and the dog gets to it first. That's it.
So guys, think of your omelet in these terms: the pan, the tool, and 2 eggs. And I don't even break the eggs into the pan. The eggs, to me, actually go into a bowl. Whip those together really quick. And I don't mean make it a yellow consistent. I mean just enough to kind of blend it.
You just break up the yolk.
Yeah, we're just kind of breaking it up, and you can still see the difference between whites and yellows and swirls.
Yeah.
You pour that into the pan, and that gives you a little bit different textures throughout the omelet. It doesn't make it a consistent yellow omelet. 2 eggs in a 6-inch pan is just deep enough that I'm not worried about getting underneath it and getting it flipped.
True.
So I'm not worried about that. If the heat is not too high, and again, a nice medium heat, you don't want to rush. You want a decent cook time.
Yeah.
If the heat's too high, the eggs are going to bubble. You're going to make the egg a balloon. Don't do that. It's just a little too much effort at that point to fight the heat. So the heat's on medium. You've got your ingredients laid out. And like I said, you got 2-3 kids. You may have some odd ingredients. You may have a chopped up hot dog. You may have a mac and cheese. So when we come back, we're going to talk about really, really putting a little presentation to this.
Think of all the neat things we can stick into an egg taco.
Well, basically, because, all right, what did you say you had in the freezer?
Andouille sausage.
Now, see, right there. There's this is like, and
some red pepper and some red onion. I'm like, I think I know what I'm doing soon.
There you go. Chop it down nice and small so that you just. Now, here's the real trick. Do you like the peppers fresh and al dente and all that, or do you like them sautéed?
Kind of depends. I'll have to decide kind of what texture I want in an omelet.
Because either works.
I think I would say al dente.
In that case, you don't have to cook anything. Mm-hmm. Just slice up your sausage because the andouille's already done. Slice up your veggies that you want to go with it. If you want a little shredded cheese of some kind, you can add that. And you're ready to go. That's it. Instant happiness in the morning. So, and I love to throw in breakfast for dinner.
Oh, yes.
Because, it's 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night. You just got home. You're, oh, Lord, what are we going to do for dinner? Everybody wants something different. We got, breakfast for dinner totally rocks.
Oh, yeah. Living alone and being very tired at the end of the day some of the times, I cannot tell you how often my dinner literally consists of toast, ham, egg, and cheese.
Well, there you go. Yeah, I'll have to teach you how to make a toad in a hole, and you can make a whole different version of that. So, welcome to having a little imagination and having a little, and I hate to say it like this, but whoever told people to stop playing with their food needed to be slapped. Because, guys, I'm going to be the first one to tell you, you need to play with your food.
Oh, yeah.
And I looked right at Brandon for this one, going, yes, you need to play with your food.
Dude, yeah. There's just so much you can, especially when it comes to eggs in general, there's just so much you can do. Now, I'm not saying go completely overboard. Test the waters. Make sure you can handle it. But I've seen some insanity. And eggs and waffles. It basically comes down to it. When we did the waffle show, later that night, we had breakfast for dinner at the house.
Mm-hmm.
English muffins and round eggs and everything, and they're stacked. They're stacked, and it gets insane. And then people are like, "What are you doing with that?" And I make a log cabin out of waffles.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
You should play with your food. I love being, as I love to tell everybody, the bad influence of food. of going through a very...
That's just your wine, sir.
I know. Going through a very fancy breakfast once upon a time, a person came over to me to inform me, good Lord, there is fish on the breakfast buffet. And I went, oh, really? Don't tease. They had lox.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah. They had lox.
Okay.
And the next thing they knew, I had lox sitting on top of my, scrambled eggs.
Yeah.
And they're looking at me like, you're eating fish and eggs. And I'm like, trust me, I eat fish eggs. It's like, much less fish and eggs.
It's like,
Yeah. And let me tell you, a salmon omelet.
No.
Oh, yeah. A little salmon and shrimp.
Look, you can't.
Maybe a little shredded crab. Oh, my gosh.
Look, I'm already drifting just based on what we've eaten already. And, I mean, you did a seafood omelet for us today.
Yes, I did.
And that in and of itself was amazing. I ate way more of that than I should have. And now I'm drifting.
All right. Well, let's go over the omelets we did today.
But yeah.
Let's go over the omelets. And y'all, Claire, this is for you to chime in. Yay. So let's start with the basic. And again, looking at Claire because she was the one unimpressed with omelets.
Right.
I already know your impression of food because I've eaten with you at how many years?
For
decades.
It's been a while.
Literally decades. Yeah. So I get to look at Claire because she's our new convert. And she's a willing convert at this point. I'm going to throw in. So we had the basic, everyday, standard American cheese omelet. Honestly, the simplest thing in the world to make. 2 eggs, a flat, a 6-inch flat pan. When one side is nice and stable, you flip it over, you put a piece of cheese on it, you fold it in half, you put it on a plate. This is honestly the 1-minute omelet.
And yes, you do not have to wait to remove it from the heat while the cheese melts. It will melt once you've got it folded.
The minute you fold it,
the second you take it away, it will
move it to the plate.
Especially if it's American cheese.
Yes.
It'll just go.
Yeah. It'll ooze. It'll be fabulous.
It'll be everywhere.
So how was that? So we had an American cheese omelet. Right. Just simple.
Just very cozy. Like the grilled cheese of omelets.
It is.
Yes.
Exactly. Okay. Exactly. Yes. We have. Oof. Allan can't talk. Boom, ba-dum, bum. Okay, so then we moved over to the standard sausage omelet.
Right.
Little tiny bit of fried potato, a little green pepper, a little red pepper, dash of sauteed onion, and a little pre-fried. And again, do not try to cook this stuff in the egg.
No, because it won't.
Overcook the egg. It'll be bouncy and rubbery and terrible and dry. Like
your dog
Claire's
will
been having it. Yeah, your dog will think it's great. All of these were pre-cooked, so it's just a little bit in the middle.
Yeah.
Fold it over. So how did we do?
Very nicely.
It was
and the potato's a nice touch.
See, and that's the thing is, right there with the bell, with the pepper and the onion and the potatoes. That's how you make breakfast potatoes anyway.
Exactly.
So I mean, throw them in the omelet.
Okay.
And people underestimate how nice a bit of veggie makes a breakfast because it just brightens everything so much.
I will say that, a really good variation on this is instead of using your basic pork sausage, use a little bit of chorizo.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Maybe some pepper jack cheese.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'll elevate it one more. Change out the peppers.
Yeah.
Are you a capsaicum fan? Are you a chili head? Pre-saute some jalapeno.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
It's not too hot, and jalapeno has a wonderful fruity flavor.
Exactly.
People don't really get that. People are like, oh, it's hot. Oh, it's hot. It's not that hot. Or you can escalate. I will say you can escalate from there.
Yes.
I'm going to stop at jalapenos, but you may feel free to make the devil's omelet however you wish to make it.
Yeah, I'm not putting any ghost peppers in my omelet. I mean, because I don't want to start the day on fire.
All right, the craziest one I made was a teppan pepper.
Oh, really? How high is that on the Scoville?
Teppans are only a little hotter than a jalapeno.
Okay.
But a teppan pepper is no bigger around than the tip of your nail on your pinky. So it's an entire jalapeno in an M&M.
That's amazing.
So it's a whole lot of punch in a little bitty package. And you drop about 3 or 4 of those little orange-colored special M&Ms into something, and it will light up.
What's hilarious is that there will be someone who eats through it and doesn't bite into a single one of them till they get to the end.
Yeah.
And then they'll
way,
feel it
It
in
was
the end.
omelet surprise, but I haven't had any surprise. Oh God!
Yeah, you might. So I've known people that make habanero omelets. I've passed, but a little jalapeno in there never hurt anybody. Okay, so then next we moved over to a more meal type omelet.
Yes.
We wandered over to what's affectionately called the Denver. And the Denver is, again, a little just fried potato, red pepper, green pepper, onion. But the big thing here is you either went with ham or steak.
Right.
And you add a picante sauce and you step the cheese up a little bit.
Yeah.
Use something like a pepper jack.
Right. And see, with these, you had gone ahead and put the picante on the top.
Right.
I'm a dipper. I like to be able to, cut my omelet and dip it into the picante. But the Denver omelet is your basic meal at a restaurant omelet.
Yes.
You can get it at any of your favorite breakfast places.
Very tasty.
Mm-hmm.
And you get it with the different cheeses and that kind of stuff. I happen to like that combination with steak strips and a queso blanco poured over the top of it.
That sounds awesome.
Oh, it is. Yeah. Oof. I just didn't have enough time to make a queso blanco first, and then so I was a little rushed trying to get all the omelets done today. So
couldn't make my cheese. Tough day.
Well, but see, when we do see, Brandon's already put in an order for one of the future shows. I promise you, there will be a big batch of queso blanco for that episode.
Yeah.
Because, you didn't give me an answer last night what we were doing, so I came up with omelets. But this morning, you left me a hint.
I left you a hint on a future show, and yes, you will need queso blanco.
We will need a lot of queso blanco for that one. A surf and turf omelet is actually pretty darn amazing.
I'll bet.
Okay, if you're going to make a seafood omelet,
and you did.
And ladies and gentlemen, if you've never had a good seafood omelet, you really owe it to yourself to have a good seafood omelet. If you've ever had a lobster roll, picture that as an omelet. Yeah, it's that good. Of what can you do or not do with an omelet? Really, nothing. It's just honestly. Now here's your secret though. And again, don't cook an omelet. Assemble an omelet. You're going to cook an egg. But you're not cooking an omelet. You're putting things together. So if you're thinking about a seafood omelet,
you're turning an egg into a tortilla with which you make a taco.
Yes.
Or a burrito or a fold over or however you want to do it. The fanciest one I ever did was a really paper thin omelet.
Crepe egg?
It can be done. You have to mix the egg up a little bit better. You have to get it a little bit thinner. And you use a 9-inch pan and you keep swirling it around and around and around until basically you make a crepe out of egg. Wow, I'm having a flashback on that one because there's really so much you can do with that. But you're going to have to, it's going to take some practice. It's going to take, and that one is not for
you're going to lose some eggs.
The novice. That is for the person that needs to practice a little bit. And it's worth it. Oh my gosh, is it worth it? And of course, if you've got fans sitting around, they will help you hide the evidence of a mistake.
Oh yeah.
This is where, throw a little, just dash it up with a little onion, some steak, and a little picante sauce. They'll make it go away while you work on the next. The trick here, if you're going to make a seafood,
I'm sorry, I see the thing. I've got it in my head now. Allan just plating something. Go here. And putting it in front of someone, they're like, "Wait, what is it?" Just eat it.
Just
it never happened.
That's happened once or twice.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun because if friends know you're experimenting, I have to say this about a lot of my close friends. They are truly giving people willing to sacrifice themselves for my skills.
Yes.
They are willing to sit there and help me hide that 5 cheese, 3 mushroom omelet that didn't turn out perfect the way I wanted it. They're willing to sacrifice themselves, make that one go away so that I can try again. That's the kind of giving, caring friends that I have.
Oh, yeah.
So
they line up outside his house, people.
It's kind of like seating only. All right, the easiest seafood omelet ever.
Okay.
Honestly.
All right.
Is the prepackaged Scampi.
Okay.
Basically you get the shrimp that are coated in the seasonings and the butter.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cook that.
All right, yeah. Okay.
Cook that.
That takes 4.5 minutes.
Takes 4.5 minutes. Cook that in 4.25. You just want to stop it
just before it's done.
Just as you're ready to serve it. You want to stop it right there. Pull that to the side. That is now your filling.
Okay, we're done. That's the end of the show. We've got to go back downstairs and cook.
And people look at me and they go, "What?" And I go, "No, seriously." The little Scampis that you can buy in the freezer section, and basically it is nothing more than a piece of shrimp coated in butter and Italian seasonings.
Mm-hmm. Really, all you need in life.
Okay, well, it's kind of hard to argue with that and a piece of bread. In this case, we're gonna have an omelet. We got our egg. We're ready to go. We've already pre-cooked our shrimp. It's already flavored. Everything's already done. Congratulations. Slap a few of those babies in the middle. Flip that darling over. And you can use the butter sauce as a drizzle across the top of it. Yeah. There you go. An instant shrimp omelet.
Ooh.
Honestly, the whole thing took you less than 10 minutes. And you now have enough shrimp out of that one little bag, because you're only going to get 2 or 3 shrimp in an omelet at a time. You've got enough here for a dozen omelets. So add together a couple of other little bacon, sausage, rolls, biscuits, whatever other niceties you want to go with breakfast. Pretty much you got food. You can feed a lot of people quick, easy. And here's the other thing I want to throw out. Omelets are cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
A dozen eggs is not a fortune. You're going 2 eggs per person plus a small amount of some kind of flavored filling. Really, it's not that big a deal. And again, don't be afraid. If you've got a 4-year-old, I don't want to, you know what? Chop up a little hot dog. Make them a hot dog omelet. They're totally down with that. One of the funniest ones I ever saw was a chili omelet.
I can get on board with that.
Ooh.
Spoonful of chili right in the dead center. Flip that baby over. They topped it with shredded cheddar, some scallions, a little sour cream, and a pecani sauce.
That sounds amazing.
Bam.
Honestly.
There you go. I mean, it was just...
You know what needs to go in there with the chili.
I'm waiting.
Dusted Fritos.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like my omelet extra crispy, please.
Yes. This is such a thing.
I mean, turning an omelet into a Frito pie is amazing.
Yes, and it can be done. And I know just the person to torture with that.
Mm-hmm.
But, guys, it's an omelet. It's relatively little practice. It is something that once you get the flip, it's easy.
Yeah.
Once you get the flip, it's easy.
And that's the thing is the flip takes a minute to get to perfect. I've seen so many people though who are afraid of the fold.
The
fold's easy.
The fold is easy.
It's like the easiest part.
And if you don't want to do the fold, there's nothing wrong with what I call the egg tortilla. You've got a lid for that pan, right? You've got it on medium heat.
Mm-hmm.
So you've put it in there. The bottom of the egg is solidified. Dump your toppings on it. Put a lid on it.
Boom.
Give it about a minute. Take the lid off. The egg will be cooked all the way to the top. All of your ingredients will be embedded. You can now just spatula that whole thing out into the center of the plate. Pile your goodies around it. You have an open face omelet.
Yep.
You have happy people because you can put more stuff
Exactly.
You can put more goodies and you're done. You're basically making the anything version of an egg Foo Young.
Yep.
And it's a lot of fun. Again, I look at everybody and I go, we haven't got anywhere near enough time to talk about all the variations of everything we could do with an omelet.
Your leftover Chinese takeout goes directly into it.
Oh, more than once.
More than once.
More than once has that happened. It's a lot like of other dishes. You look at an omelet. I look at an omelet like a really good soup. We're gonna have to have a huge conversation about ramen and pho before much longer.
Oh yeah.
And these are again just options or just places to start. So the omelet, we know 2 eggs, basically fried, flipped or left stationary, something in the middle, folded over. It's like a treasure hunt. There's just something good
you saying
inside
it like
of that.
I just think, we get the Mardi Gras omelet that's basically the egg version of a king cake.
Oh, I've done that.
Of course you have.
I've done that.
Sounds like a natural progression.
It is. It's a lot of fun. And yes, if you buy the right stupid little baby, you will fold in there just nicely, scare the heck out of somebody. But
I can already hear the outrage headlines now. Allan Gilbreth folds baby into eggs.
Oh yeah, that'd
What
be
came first, the baby or the egg?
Oh my gosh. So, in Mardi Gras just means good luck, people.
I can't answer that on the air.
It's just good luck. Just leave it alone. Coloring of, there's honestly no reason why. We just passed green holiday.
Right.
Well, you can color the eggs.
We've got Easter coming up. Who said that the eggs have to be hard boiled to get dyed?
You can make colors.
Yeah.
You can make colors in these and have a lot of fun. There's nothing that says you can't serve an omelet on a bed of.
That's true.
And especially if you're doing something like a Denver, honestly, a little bit of Fritos, have fun.
Yeah.
Get the kids involved. Get everybody involved. Claire's ready for me to cook, and Brandon's ready for a nap.
You can only go as far as your imagination will allow you.
That's true.
Yeah.
That was deep. I like that.
Yeah.
Put that on a t-shirt.
Absolutely.